It's been 1 week. Hey, did you miss me? I bet you didn't. It's time for another Gateway to Geats, because Geats is back, so I am back. Hello there. And boy, are we opening this episode on a brand new status quo, as basically we're seeing the beginning of the TV show. Not the beginning of the TV show, like the introduction of the TV show. It's just like, it's the roll call for the TV show that they're in now. And we see our three boys and boys in a gender non-neutral way. I don't know what I'm saying. We see our three main heroes, and we get two new guys. But there is a funny gag because we see Geats and Nago come out first, and they're big cheers, all that kind of stuff. And then we see our two new ones, and we get a little back and forth and like quick introduction to their character. One's a really, really smart dude, and we have a gal that's like super athletic and all that kind of stuff. And they're arguing back and forth, and then Samori basically goes like, "All right, cool, you five," and then Nago goes, "Wait a second, hold on, it's just been the four of us. 1, 2, 3, 4." And then the camera pans over to Keiwa, and it's just like, "Hi, I'm here," and please don't let this be the only running gag for this arc. I like Keiwa. As we get through this, I'm not disappointed. It's just more of like, come on. It's like being a fan of Yamcha. Come on. It's very Yamcha levels of what they do for this kind of stuff. But hey, we get the intro. We come out of the intro. And we get introduced to what this rounds game is. They gotta beat all the delinquent Yamato. So they go and fight. Ba ba boop. Right? So our three ones that we've been knowing are doing pretty good. They like are able to work together while also being individualized. While two new people, the Wolf and the Sparrow, I don't know their writer names. The Wolf and the Sparrow get in the way. Like, they aren't meshing with the rest of them, and it's kind of a thing, you know. Specifically, the Wolf and Tycoon have a little spat, and Nago and Sparrow have a little spat. You know, it kind of makes sense. You know, a wolf attacking a raccoon dog, and a bird and a cat going at it. It's cute. But after they deal with all the bad guys, after they deal with all the mooks, they're back at the lounge. And hey, another little twist for this arc is that they're all going to have to live at the lounge. They wanted to be full-on reality TV. And we get introduced to a new game master, and he does not hide who he is. He is full up front. It's like, hey, I'm the new master of ceremonies. I'm here to make this as entertaining as possible for them. He looks at the camera and he goes like, hey, by the way, there's one amongst you who's like a plant, who's a mole, who you gotta have to figure out who it is. And if you don't figure it out and they get to the end, they win. And it's like, oh shit. Part of me also thinks that doesn't even exist. They're just doing that to create drama. Like, no one is that thing. No one's the disaster, I think is what it was. And it's done purely to create drama. Which, you know, they would. But it's much more of a showman. I like the vibe of him. I hope it's not at 100 all the time, because it could get grating. Not annoying, but just more of like, come on, I want you... Get to the important information you need to say, buddy. But then we cut away from our main heroes, and we see Buffa, and he wakes up at the garden. He's like going, what the fuck? He sees Yamato's growing. He's like, what the fuck? He sees the gardener, and he goes like, oh, you're a fucking old man. And the gardener goes like, hey, buddy, I'm fucking weird and creepy. What's up? And Buffa's like, oh, shit. And the gardener goes like, hey, I heard you like to beat common riders. And it's like, oh, he's going to try and recruit Buffa. He's going to try and recruit him. That would be interesting. You know, it could be interesting to see. But then we cut back to the riders, and boy, howdy, Keiwa is just getting shit on. Like, he goes and calls his family, so, like, his sister's, like, not worried of what's going on with him. And when he comes back, they've all divided all the floor space. They didn't think of him. And it's like, come on. Nago, Geats, Ace, Neon, we just had an entire arc where you bonded with him. What the fuck? Kind of rude. Stop it. You know? All that kind of stuff. And, like, there's a fun comedy gag of, like, he's trying to get any kind of space, and he sits on a couch that just happens to be on the lady's side. They're overreacting. He's sitting on a goddamn couch outside of the curtains they set up. The curtains are your boundary, ladies. Just because you put tape doesn't mean that the curtains aren't the main boundary. You're being ridiculous. Come on now. And Neon, you know him. You know he would not fucking do shit. Come on. Be better. Fucking, come on. Why you guys doing my boy KOL dirty? But he goes like, oh, hey, where's Ace? Maybe Ace will let me room with him. And they all go like, hey, Ace is gone. Ace was called away to do something. And the smart guy's like, oh, maybe he's, like, the whole time, the smart intelligence dude is like planting seeds of like, oh, maybe this person, like, just spreading seeds of doubt, immediately making me think it's him. It's him. Like, we've all played Among Us at this point. It's him. It's like, that's the go-to tactic for if you're an imposter, is you immediately start pointing fingers. Come on. You know? But we do see Geats, and he is with a fan, and the fans go like, yo, man, I fucking love your shit. I love it when you win. I love it when you do all that kind of stuff. Hey, I gave you a power-up to make sure, like, you could do all the stuff. Hey, I want to see you win because I want you to understand who you really are. And Geats just looks at him and goes like, Nani? What do you mean? That I could not be who I think I am? Is that what you're implying? But we don't see the end of that. Well, we see the end of that conversation. It's that little tense moment. When we cut back to the other writers, they're playing Old Maid, I think it is, just a card game. And they're talking about who the imposter might be. And again, IQ guy, just sowing so many seeds of doubt. And we do cut to the end of the scene where Keiwa is holding the last card, the Joker. And it's like, oh, is he the imposter? No, because if you know the rules of Old Maid, someone else takes cards, and if you're left with that card by itself, you lose, right? Like, some variation of that kind of idea. And I think because Keiwa is such a nice guy, the buck is going to be passed around so much of who this disaster is, that he's going to end up with it, and it's not going to be fair. You know, like, he's just going to end up with it, and he's not it. You know, I think that's what it's kind of implying. But, we cut back. Cut a lot of scenes in this episode. We cut to a little ramen shop, little ramen stand, street food. And the plaid producer, I don't know his name yet, is just talking with his assistant, and they're having a conversation. And it's just like, why'd you let Ace back in? It's like, oh, because he has a right to do it and all that kind of stuff. And he says, like, and maybe by having him around, we can figure out why he thinks that person is his mom. Meaning the person, the moderator before Samuri, who she says, like, yeah, that might be your mom. And he's going like, why does he even think? Why? How does he make this connection? What makes him believe this? Maybe we need to figure all that. So between this and the other scene, Ace may not have all the information. Ace seems like he has all the info, but he may not, or maybe it's implanted info, maybe it's all false memories, all that kind of stuff. Who knows? But it's fascinating. But we can't dwell on that too much longer. The final fight is about to begin, and it's basically, hey, you're out of school, you got to beat delinquents, and you got to eliminate the principal. And they're like, okay, so we're out of school. Let's go to the principal's office, see where that is. And we have this great running action scene with the new Wolf Rider. She gets up to the second floor and she goes like, there is no principal's office. And IQ guy, and I want to say Geats less so, but IQ guy immediately goes like, oh, I know what we got to do. I know what we have to do. It's like, all right, cool. And it's just like they're kind of working together, but it's not exactly working together. You know. So they get up, and the IQ guy goes like, "Hey, you gotta do this. You gotta go do that. All right." And Geats goes and does it, and a new power up drops, where it's the building power up. It's really cool. I can't remember what it's called. I can't remember what a lot of things this episode are called. Blame my shitty ass memory. But basically, you can put these smaller rise buckles into it, and you get a powered up weapon out of it. It's really cool. So he gets it, and it's a building power up, so he's able to build a principal's office, and that spawns in the principal Yamato, and so they fight it. But all the while, Keiwa is just kind of noticing of like, there's some Yamatos that are acting real peaceful, that aren't attacking us, but feels a little weird. And he's also one of the few people who has noticed that the Yamatos are also mimicking past riders. And like, he's the only one who's putting these two dots together. And it's like, it's interesting because he's definitely like a heart and soul kind of character. He's very much where the soul of the show is kind of coming from. And it's interesting that he's noticing empathetically to these kind of things. But ultimately, they find the principal, they beat his ass, they win the game, and we see how things are going to be balancing out this season. Well, this season. Yeah, no, this arc. As there's now new popularity poll. No one's getting eliminated, but you gotta be popular to win. And all that kind of stuff. So like, IQ guy has the most, Geats is next, Wolf is next after Geats, Nago, and then with only 1% is Keiwa. And I just gotta say, everyone watching the Desire Grand Prix, you have horrible taste. Keiwa is best boy. I don't understand how you can't believe Keiwa is the best boy in this whole thing. He is great. But also, again, on the shitty on Keiwa thing, Geats is using boost buckle the whole time, right? And he does the whole finisher and boost, like, rockets off. It rockets towards Keiwa and he goes like, oh shit. He jumps out of the way and boost just knocks up into him anyway, and he just falls on his face, and it's just like, come on. What did Keiwa do to deserve this? What did Keiwa do to deserve any of this? It's not fair. It's not fair, I say. But after the whole popularity poll is revealed to us, we do cut back to the garden. We cut back to Buffa and the gardener, as the gardener goes like, "Oh, hey, sweet, we got a guy. He's just ripened. I can show you. I can kind of show you what we're all about." And as Yamato kind of comes to, and transforms into the guy from the first episode. The one who's like, oh, saving people is a habit. And Buffa's like, what the fuck? And that's when the episode ends. Goddamn. This is a great episode. Great beginning of a new arc. I loved it. The new characters are interesting. I'm not a big fan of them. They're definitely being positioned as, these are new people, and you're not sure how you're supposed to like them. They do feel like dickheads. They feel, because here's the thing, we have Geats, Nago, and Tycoon all basically learning that even if we are competing against each other, we kind of have to work together for the betterment of everybody, you know? It's better if we work together than apart. And these dickheads are very much, no, fuck you. We don't give a shit. I also like how even though Buffa is off on a side quest, we do need a Vegeta-esque rival for Geats. And I like how it's a girl. I like how it's a woman, and like it's full on respect from Ace. It's just like, oh yeah, you're full athletic, you're cool. And she's like, I know I'm cool. And it's like, oh, that's cool. I say cool. It's a nice change of pace, you know. And a bunch of questions are asked for us, like, is Ace who he thinks he is? You know? Is Ace who he thinks he is? And is Ace who we think he is? Like, is he false? What is Ace? Is he, like, not a real person? Is these memories implanted? Is he, like, something else? Is he reincarnated? Or so on and so forth. In fact, I just had an idea. Because we did see the guy from the very first episode pop up as a Yamato, and Kamen Riders are often associated with the major villain MacGuffin. What if Ace is a Yamato? What if the previous moderator of the DGP was alive and she did have a kid, but somehow that kid died? And what if that kid got reincarnated as a Yamato, and that is who Ace is? And that's why everyone's like, oh, what? And that's why maybe Ace is so good. Maybe that's why the buckles all kind of work for him. Who knows? This is just the thing that just popped in my head, you know? And speaking on that, what are the Yamatos? We keep seeing them as plants, and we keep seeing, like, what is the end goal for them? And considering how this is being written by the same dude who did X-Aid, I'm wondering, like, oh, or maybe the Gardener trying to do the Yamatos as, like, a kind of bioorganic post-humanity kind of thing? They're definitely going to have to work on teamwork with the new people, especially with the idea that they have an imposter amongst their mates. And there's also the aspect of, like, because of the popularity poll, of what does an audience do to you? How do you change yourself for an audience? Like, a lot of fun, interesting questions, a lot of thematic questions, a lot of just like lore kind of being bubbling up around the edges, and it's like it's less of like, we're gonna answer your question soon. It's more of like, you don't even know the questions you're asking yet. You don't even know the full context of the question you want to ask, and that is fun. That is fascinating. But hey, that's it for the episode, but not it for this video, because we got some comments to go through. First up, from good friend, classic friend, good old boy, we have the Humanator, basically saying, like, basically saying, like, of course I would make a parallel to Mojo from Marvel Comics after realizing its reality and all that kind of stuff. Because, yeah, no, who do you think I am? I love fucking Marvel Comics. Mojo's cool. And if you want to hear me talk about Marvel Comics with Vac more often, every Sunday, live on YouTube, we do No Price Podcast on Modular Media. Go subscribe to Modular Media so you can get notified when those go live. And come and join. We talk about comics, we talk about movies, we talk about the merchandise that comes out of those two things. It's a fun, rapturous time. We also have Fish Pop coming in once more, again, regular. Dude is a rock. Glare is indeed the GM writer's name. It's built as annoyingly a premium Bandai release, but I can see why. It's only appears in 2 episodes. I mean, yeah. It's not great, but it's also, like, it totally makes sense for Bandai to do it this way. I wouldn't put it past the show to, like, bring that suit back, but for lack of a better way of describing it, that suit and that belt really feels like we need this guy to have a suit. We didn't plan for it. Let's kit bash some previous suits we have. Because that suit did not feel like it came from Geats. That suit feels like it came from a previous season. One of them. I don't know which, but it does not feel like it came from Geats. So it definitely feels like a kit bash. What you gonna do? What are you gonna do? And last, we have from Esconde. Really love this episode. The first promotional art we got for the series gave off the vibe of a high-stakes show for the entertainment of the rich, and I'm stoked to reveal that's a writer reality show where saving the world is entertainment. Oh yeah, great concept. It's you know what? I feel like in a worse writer's hands, they would have just blown that on the very first episode, and that would have been the status quo. But the fact that they kind of lulled us into one status quo and then basically said, like, really, we're in this status quo, keeps the show fresh, it keeps it engaging. I like it. But it also doesn't completely upend everything we knew. It's just more of like, oh, it's another goddamn layer. Love how Keiwa got to shine in this episode. Yeah, last episode was great. This episode got done him fucking dirty. Ace is telling him he gotten stronger. That speech gave Giori stand up for everyone's wishes. So of course, how this time Keiwa is the one who got to pull one over on Ace. Yeah, it's adorable. Neon's also super clutch using your connections. I love these three just being a little crew, you know. Seeing the two characters that initially dismissed as extras be the ones to get Ace out of a pinch really highlight how much they've grown. I really hope that this continues, you know, because again, this episode, Keiwa got done dirty. It's done for a joke. It is done to kind of highlight things. You didn't have to do them that bad. The other reveal with Zombie Buckle definitely has me interested. It looks like another instance where there's more to Buckles than one would initially think. I wonder if the other Buckles have effects that happen if you overuse them too. Who knows? Maybe. That may be a thing. We don't know. But I definitely do like the idea of, like, Buckles are very resonant to not just... Here's the thing. What if the cores, the little circle things that go in the middle of the belt, are very reflective of the person, and thus the certain buckles being receptive to certain cores, like Ace said, like, you gotta, if you match them up, the power increases, is much more in line with, like, the buckles gotta like you. The buckles gotta choose you. And then you can be, like, super powerful. Like, I don't know. It's definitely fun to see. Because, like, the Boosh Buckle did immediately run to Keiwa as soon as Geats was done using him. Either way. Either way. That's it for Gateway to Geats. I hope you enjoyed this video, and I hope you enjoyed it, Kamen Rider Geats, if you watched it. But, you want to know how you can help me out? You can like, comment, and subscribe on this video. You can follow me on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok, Boingo_Rider. You can also follow me on Tumblr. Link to that is in the description. And hey, ring the bell. Ring the bell. Sure. Till next time, keep on Geatsing.